Hey Chuck, how's it going? Here is your first lesson video. I'm going to go over everything that we talked about during your lesson and a couple other things too. So just starting out, I'll just go over this on your video rather than sending you this additional how to hold the guitar video. So we've got this indentation on the guitar. I'm going to fit it to my leg, not at this angle, which is tempting, but more or less at a right angle. And in a position where it's about an inch away from my body and slightly leaning back on me. So if you want at this point, you can just put your elbow or your humerus here just to steady it. So we can't really see the fretboard. We can if we look over. That's what we're going for. You may find yourself tempted to move like this or like this, but that's not what we're going for. And you might find that you have the fretboard down here at this point. It's our goal to have it chill up here rather than fall down there. And if you see, I don't have to hold it up over here. We're not holding the fretboard up over there, though it seems like it might be the thing at first. So just right hand wise, I'm swinging my arm around the instrument such that the crook of my arm is here and I can comfortably go flat like that. So what I get is my humerus resting on the instrument in this ergonomic position where I'm dead weight chilling like that. And again, reminder, my fretboard's up here, not down there. If you're having that issue, you can just move your guitar a half inch to the right. Be sure it's still fitted to your leg. And that's our I'm about to play position, is my arms on the guitar. That's the main thing, steadying it, but it's leaned back on my body nominally. And not over here or something like that where we can't actually in this position where very comfortably can do this and over the sound hole when we do make a flat like that, flat palm rather. Hey, here's how you hold a pick. It's between my thumb and my forefinger, and we want about this much of the pick sticking out as opposed to the whole thing, which is how people tend to, the field is acting initially, or a little nub like that. When you strum, you're going to feel your finger graze the strings a little bit. And we are looking to just strum and graze all the strings in that wider range of motion than the guitar visually implies that we talked about during the lesson. But yeah, on my thumb and my forefinger, using my fingertip, but not resting on my first knuckle of my index finger. And you want to be sure you don't end up switching to your second finger. If you bring it in a little bit to support, that's cool. But there it is. We want the pointy bit, the tip, facing the instrument where that's our strumming position. Cool. So that's how you hold the pick. Wonderful. So our left hand positioning is going to have us with our thumb with one total knuckle over the top. Not everything. And what we're going for is I'm flush against the fretboard here, getting me more out here. That's our goal with this positioning. Sometimes we do move our thumb lower for things with reaches in them, but at the moment for the types of ideas we're playing, this is the position that we want to be in. Not this, not this, not this. Anything that creates distance back there is bad. Something I noticed during the lesson is that you were like visually mapping for yourself, like here's the second fret doing this unconsciously. That's a little bit of a problem because then you have to recover from that. So there we go. So we're just in that's our clutch or thumb over the top position as opposed to classical thumb position that we haven't tried yet, nor do we need to. So let's talk about my left elbow. It is towards the front of my torso. People tend to end up back here for various reasons in various ways. And if you find your elbows moved back, it's definitely time to just reset. The best way to go is my palm is face up in my lap, not next to my leg, but in my lap. Grab it with this one knuckle, not more. Start to do stuff. That's a technical term, do stuff. For instance, fret the first chord we learned, which is E minor. And yes, it does hurt to push down that much, which is my middle finger here, my ring finger there, 2 notes at the second fret. And we want them, stacked on top of each other as much as possible rather than splayed out. So cool. So there's one of the chords we're going to learn, E minor. Minor chords sound dark as opposed to bright. Wonderful. So now push down really hard and just pick through one string at a time and make sure you're actually getting all the strings successfully. If anything goes to click instead of a note, it is either that you're not pushing down hard enough, most likely, or that one of your other fingers is muting a string. Most likely would be the 6th, 5th, 4th string. You might accidentally be touching the 3rd string and muting it. That's one of the reasons that we're coming straight in at the strings, bent at our first knuckle like this, not floppy finger or straight like that. Now that's somewhat of an unfamiliar position that we have to be pushed against something to execute, but that's us, you know, as opposed to anything else along those lines. Whatever shape we're in, we're bent at that first knuckle. So just, you know, revisit your entire both arms, torso position, and for now, probably actually going feet on the floor, shoulder width apart in the immediate, and then switching to more chilled out positions is your best bet. And let's try to strum down once. So, like we discussed, the way the guitar looks implies I'm going to line my pick up here and strum, which is going to sound really clunky, or you'll unconsciously end up hitting about 4 strings, not all of them. Instead, it's like a golf swing. I've got this one fluid thing where I graze the strings and hit them all with the same amount of velocity, which we refer to as attack on guitar. So just, that's what we're going for, not, you know, decisively smooth strum like that, just grazing all the strings. So if we see me going, I'm all the way down here, and I'm all the way up here. So that's what's up. And the mistakes you're going to make there are missing the strings entirely, which is a good one, because your chances are you were just, you know, an 1/18 of an inch from perfect. Or my pick's in too close to the body of the guitar and I really smashed it. That's the one that's going to sound bad. So your first assignment is single strums. And I don't mean trying to play in rhythm already and going, no. That would be more fun. I mean, after, you know, when I'm done saying this, pause your video and do single down strums where you pause in between each one and hit reset. Each one's a focused attempt. If you want to try to quantify for yourself what went wrong verbally in your head, like that time I missed the strings, or that time I paused and strummed in a smaller range of motion than where I was going for. So we're in our myopic memorization headspace right now, which is like memorizing the dance steps as opposed to anything resembling dancing or musical experience. So what I want you to do is pause your video and actually do these single down strums, just one attempt, until you get some facility with it, until it starts to feel like something that you can do a huge percentage of the time. If you see me resting my elbow here, it's just the function of the chair that I'm sitting in, and that's why we usually don't sit in chairs with arms. So my bad, it is the same position. That's not something I'm encouraging you to do, nor something I was doing consciously. So let's get some down strums. Pause your video. Get good at that. Having done that, now if your left hand's tired, you could be doing, and it would just sound a little muddy to hit all the open strings, which are E, A, D, G, B, E. I believe that's all the memorization of note names that we decided to do this week. But we are going to memorize what these chords are called. So now we're going to go up. And rather than starting with down, let's just look at what's involved with up. So my wrist is loose, but I'm not using my wrist as a scoop. If you feel like you need to do that, it might be that your arm moved over too far in this direction. Also, reminder, we're like this. Also, if you find the fretboard down there, reminder, that's not what we're going for. Cool. So now we're just looking at trying to hit all 6 strings going up. Sometimes we're not going to hit all 6 strings. Right now, we're just looking at playing it like a percussion instrument. So stop, pause, start to get a little more comfortable with that. Having done so, now we're going to try to go down followed by up one single time. That's about how we want it to sound, not and make sure you're hitting all 6 strings, not hitting about 4 strings all the way down, 4 strings all the way up. So let's go ahead and pause and get somewhat decent at that, making it really mechanical and uninteresting. Great. So moving on to adding rhythm, just, you know, check out both hands, be sure everything's cool. I know it hurts. Here's why I'm fretting on my fingertips. At first, everybody wants to go right directly under the fingernail, but yeah, whatever gets you off of the string beneath it, whatever lets you just be on one single string with each finger. Cool, so now we're going to be playing actual rhythm, just down strums on the downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, as slowly as you want. So now having worked on downward strums in our memorization headspace, we're actually going to do something semi-musical and go going for hitting all 6 strings. And you could sort of think of it as down and return, where you're not strumming on the way up. So go ahead and try to get some reps of that in. Maybe just, 4 strums, 2 strums. The most important thing is that you're actually focused on what you're doing. So pause, get good at going down strum, down strum. Any tempo is fine, but I was about like 1, 2, 3. Okay. Having done that, now we're alternating down up. We did that one single time, so now we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and tends to be, unless we're doing something like that, in rhythm guitar we strum down on the downbeats, the numbers, and up on the upbeats. And so we're going 1 and 2 and but we're pretty much just thinking push down a shape, down up, versus about music theory stuff. Or maybe or potentially even slower. And I want you to do maybe 2 down ups or 4 down ups, then pause, reset, rather than over and over again staying in your focused headspace rather than switching to now I'm playing, which are pretty subtle distinctions. Again, the analogy we used was memorizing the dance steps, conscious focus, dancing. Okay, I went over it, now I'm just going to try it. That's our memorization versus playing headspace. Cool. So now we've gone just down strums and just up and down up. So now we're going to go down, 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 up, down, up. Basically no new text. And this will feel like the most musical thing that we've done today. So it'll sound like or cool. So one good one of those. Be sure that you're holding the guitar correctly. Be sure everything's cool. Both shoulders should be at rest. Like we talked about during the lesson, we're not going for, whoops, I ended up out here, and then the correction is this, because then your elbow will end up in a bad position. So again, just a reminder, one thumb joint hanging the weight of it off where we're out here, nothing that creates less of your finger available to you. Great, so we're going to learn 3 chords, and they're all pretty similar. So A minor, the second chord we decided to learn, has us moving both of these fingers down in a group, and try to do that rather than going this one, that one, try to move them. Realize it's just a very small range of motion. Your eye might want to make it more demonstrative subconsciously at first, but just tiny little range of motion decisively. And then our first finger comes in and plays this note on the second string, the first fret of the second string, giving us A minor. Sounds like a minor chord again, and A minor. Right now we're okay with I hit the 6th string. E is one of the notes in the chord. So same process for that, just down strums, some down up strums, and then the tricky part is going to be how do I move between those chords that quickly? So right now I want you to pause your video and have an arduous 5-10 minutes where, after checking your position, you just go, try to move really quickly. You may find that your first finger is doing something, again, subconsciously more demonstrative to your eye, like I'm using these 2 fingers, but we want it just hovering. It doesn't need to literally be there. You can just move your whole hand. Anything in this neighborhood as opposed to something else. And I know this hurts. That's not actually a note in reach position if it feels hard to get. Pretend this is the first chord that you started with. It's one of the easier ones given everything's hard right now because ouch my hand. But it'd be something with your positioning. You can be right in the middle of the fret anywhere but too close to that side. So there we go, A minor. So same process, down strums, down up strums, but really just trying to get that chord shape quickly. You may find yourself going this half, that half. That doesn't work all at once. And a way you can trick yourself is if you're finding that you want to go these two, then this, you can flip it and make yourself go first finger, then the other two, as a trick to just doing them all at once. And this is about as easy as we can make a chord change, a chord being an entire chord shape between one another, rather than Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or something. So that'll be the hard part, is doing that as quickly as we need to go. So like our rhythm 3. And yeah, so then we didn't discuss the lesson. The very last strum before I move, I'm actually just hitting the open strums, giving myself 2 split seconds to execute the chord. So we have this one where I'd already left. And that's what we're used to hearing. If I'm that actually had the in there. So you have 2 split seconds to do it. And that'll definitely be the hard part aside from match my hand, is how do I move that quickly. Cool. So just going through these shapes, we have E minor, A minor, which is really similar, and then C is a major chord that's almost identical to A minor. We just move our ring finger. And you can let your whole hand accommodate that if you find your back too far this way and that feels impossible. Just scooch down that. Reminder, you want your thumb about at the 2nd fret, not the 1st fret. And if you see your palm coming up, that's one thing where that means your hand is disappearing behind the fretboard. So it can be this never-ending troubleshooting, this goes right, that goes wrong type thing, or it's just this position, and we're doing things out in front like that. Cool, so if we were going to play our entire song, it would be E minor, A minor, and then C twice, so just with down strums, it's like switch. Still C. Or, sorry, down, down. The last time through, I made sure to hit all the strings. Hey, so please pause and work on that. I don't expect you to get it perfectly, and you can certainly just work the chord change with single strums and isolate that before you move on to trying to play all of them. You could also just play the first 2 chords like that's a miniature song, just going. I've done 1 chord change and then add C after the fact, but either way, you see the task at hand. And the most musical one is to play the rhythm 3, but if you just play rhythm 1 just downstrokes, it'll give you that split second to do the chord change where you don't need to use that open strum, where you hit actually the open strings one single time. Cool, so that's pretty much what we did this week. We'll get into something that sounds more like music you like next time. One other thing you could do is just get used to hitting single strings. Again, in our same position, here I'm playing E minor, going. With C, we're also barely making contact with the bass string with our thumb to mute it. Not depressing it, not changing our position. If you see the position you're normally in, it is a really nominal change to touch that. Just if you make contact with it at all, we get, click, and that's what happens on that chord. Since it sounds pretty bad to get, we're going to mute that with our thumb. So there we go, like this. Click. No. So there's another little detail. So your thumb will just move a tiny bit between the first 2 chords. And that one, be sure your thumb's not doing this, which is the same position effectively. Cool. So the other thing you could do is just pick through single notes. Just, we're just going downward pick versus upward pick. Down, 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 down. Up, 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 up. So we're determining what we pick next based on what direction we're going in. I'm on my way down until I get to the first string where I hit it up. So it'd be down, 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 up, down. And there we can do it completely out of rhythm, just getting used to hitting single strings. And if your left hand gets tired, you can fully. And it just won't sound that great. So there we are. There's one other tidbit for you and a chance to rest your So this is just like anything else that's physical exertion. You want to play through the pain, but not to the point of injury. Encourage you to maybe think about getting your son into some lessons with me, because like we talked about during class, keeping youth students motivated and engaged with the music is the trick, and most of them just quit when the text is play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star instead, when he could be doing something along the lines of what we are, but playing songs that he enjoys. So let me know how that's working out with your original teacher. Maybe we can figure that out. Let me know if you need a consult on purchasing your guitar. And I do not believe we've fully confirmed for next time. Let me just look here. I'm going to do this on analog, but you're free to go. Otherwise, Thursdays. Yeah, I think we were talking about putting something down for Thursday the 24th to give you 2 weeks to practice. That would be fine. Just hit me back, let me know what's going on, and we will figure it out. Also, if you wanted to send a payment for a block of lessons, you're going to have a sense of how difficult practice is going to be coming back to payment. Best to get in 15 minutes focused rather than an hour of all over the place. And just like anything else that's exertion, you want to play through the pain, but not to the point of injury. And the good/bad news is you're not going to injure yourself. So this is strength training. It's just strength training for this while you're getting calluses on your fingertips. So kind of like a climbing gym type situation that will switch to this kind of hurts so good that then switches to I can actually do this without it feeling so painful. But at any rate, we could prorate to your first lesson into the block of lessons that you purchase if you want to do it between now and your next lesson. Let me know if you need any other information about buying a guitar. You certainly want to buy a guitar for your son rather than be renting whatever happened there. Just Google Guitar Starter Pack or just go to Guitar Center. Reminder, you have a 20%, I believe, discount at Guitar Center. Get in touch with Kevin Ames, A-M-E-S, if you don't already know Kevin, and you want to get in touch with him about getting badge access to the practice room as well, the 14th floor band room where we have our lesson. All right, bros, pleasure to meet you. We're getting you off to a good start here with no or minimal bad habits. And the more attention you can pay to your positioning, especially when you start to become physically tired, just taking time to go, am I in the right position, rather than ending up with the guitar too far this way or that way, developing another set of unconscious fundamentals. Cool, this will get fun, and let's make a point to do something that sounds like, a song that you enjoy. That's your next lesson. Looking forward. If you did want to send me a payment, I am casslucas@gmail.com on Venmo and PayPal. But we can figure that out next time or whatever you're up to. 10 lessons seems to be the popular maneuver. Can't emphasize enough. Yours to get to at any point. I know that practicing at this point can be discouraging, but this does get really cool really fast when you build up some basic coordination and the finger strength. So every time you pick it up, you'll be a little stronger. And just finish anything. The worst possible thing would be to play through everything on the page and hope you get better at it. More ideal to just be really myopic and focus on one thing so you get some facility with it. All right, sir. See you soon. There it is. Lesson 1.